Hey guys, Dave here. I have the prototype of Sheep Hustler from Mad Games. I believe this is the first game they're making. This is a prototype, so the components in here may be better on the production version, and also they pointed out there's a few things they're correcting in the production version. So we'll go over this. I'll show you what the components look like, how to play, and then I'll tell you what I thought of the game. So let's take a look at the components. Right now it's just including a rules poster, but I'm sure in the final production version it'll have something a little bit more interesting. But let's take a look what's in the box. It includes these. Everyone who helped me play test absolutely loved these sheep meatballs, so I was surprised to hear that, but everyone thought they were neat. Anyhow, these are given out whenever someone wins a round. They get a sheep. So basically, the person at the end of 7 rounds who has the most sheep wins. Let me show you the cards. It's got some cards that show you what the winning pens look like. And then some cards that show you, some special cards here that show you what the special cards do. And then here's the cards itself. Every pen you create has to have 2 fences and 4 sheep. We'll go over what the sheep have to be, but basically the cards, they all, if they're sheep, they have numbers. If they're a special card, they have a symbol in the corner. And in the rules poster, it says what the special cards do. What's interesting about this is no one actually needs to speak English to play this game. Since there's no writing on the cards, you could play this game against someone who speaks a different language if you wish. And the game is completely color independent, so even though there's colors on it, there's symbols for them, so a colorblind person can play the game without any difficulty, so that's good. So let me show you the setup now. So when setting up, we're going to pretend we're playing a 2-player game. Each player will start with 2 cards face up. That's their paddock. And then they'll have 4 cards face down. And you leave the draw deck over here for when you need to draw cards. Okay, when playing the game, you can swap cards from your paddock to your flock and vice versa anytime you wish, but on your turn you're doing one of 2 things. You're discarding cards from your flock, you're discarding a card from your paddock, and obviously you would replace it with one from the draw pile, or you're playing a sheepdog, or you're playing a special card. I'm going to show you the 4 combinations you need to win. The first one is you need 2 fences and 4 of the same color. The second one, 2 fences and alternating, yellow 1, green 2, yellow 3, green 4, like that. Third one, you need all of the same number, like in this case a 1, all of different colors. And the last one, there wasn't enough cards to show up, but let's put it together now. You want 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 2 fences, all of different colors. Those are the winning combinations, and when you win that, you get that, you win the round. Okay, the most important card in this game, on your turn you can play a sheepdog, and a sheepdog can do one of 4 things. He can round up from another flock, which means he can say to a player, give me a 1 or give me a blue. It has to be a number or a color, but not both. So let's see if this has a 1 or a blue. But since he has a 1, he would have to give this player a 1, and then he would replace his card here. The second thing a sheepdog can do is he can round up from another paddock, which means he can take a card from this paddock here, and then they would just immediately replace it, and this would get discarded. He can also round up from the discard pile, so let's pretend there's some cards in this discard pile, and he needed a fence, so he could take the fence out of here and give it to himself. Or he can block a sheepdog, so if the other player, does he get a sheepdog? Let's pretend he did. So if he played a sheepdog, this guy could take 1 out of his deck and play it to cancel his sheepdog. We've also talked about wooden fences. You can discard a wooden fence, and what it does is it allows you to reshuffle the discard pile into the deck. So actually you reshuffle the discard and put it on top of the deck, but that's the special ability of the fences. And there's also some special cards here. Let's go over those. The first special card is the metal fence. When you play that, every other player has to discard a fence card from their paddock if they have one, so that's a nasty card to play against people. Next card is the wolf. If you play a wolf, each of your opponents has to discard a sheep card from their flock. And after they do so, obviously they replace it because you always have 4 cards in your flock. The next one is the shaggy sheepdog. Whenever you play that, you immediately draw a card. And then after that, each player passes 1 card from their flock to the left. So he could pass that there. And this guy, if he wanted, he could pass this one over here. Last one, special card, is a sheep rustler. When you play that, you look at your opponent's hand and you get to take one. And then they get to replace. So that's a powerful card. So what you're doing in this game is you're using your sheepdogs to get the cards you want, or the sheep rustler. And you're using the shaggy sheepdog to kind of mess with your opponents. The metal fence to get rid of their fence posts and so forth. So we'll go over what I thought of the game next. What do I think of the Sheep Hustler prototype? It's not bad. One thing I want to point out, though, is the first few games we played, we weren't getting it. I mean, the rules were simple and straightforward enough, but we weren't getting the strategy. The first few games resolved, but after that we started to understand the strategy and started to learn that, like, the sheepdog is what you use to get the cards you need, that, and the shaggy sheepdog and so forth, and you can use the metal fence to get rid of people's fences. So we got the strategy after that, and also when you're looking at someone's paddock, a lot of times you can figure out what they're trying to do, and you can use that to try and mess them up and make sure they're not going to win. But the hands, sometimes I won one hand in like 2 turns, and there was like we had another hand that took, like, I don't know, at least 15 turns to win. So you might, a full game of this might take 15 minutes, or it might take a half hour, it might take 40 minutes. In addition to that, they need to add a rule about ties, because after our first game, we had one player who won 3 sheep, another one who won 3 sheep, and one that won 1 sheep. So it doesn't say whether you can have ties or not, so we just agreed that you could have ties. So they need to put in the rules whether you can have ties, or if a tie situation occurs, you play another game to have a tiebreaker. They got to do something, though. But other than that, yeah, I mean, the game's a light game. Kids are going to like it. Younger teenagers will probably like it. Parents would probably have fun playing it with their kids. So it's for the younger crowd, and it's a very simple game. I recommend it. I have no idea what they're going to charge for the game, and the packaging may change and so forth. There was one problem, though. In the game, you can... It says the rules say you can take cards from your paddock and move them to your hand, or from your hand to your paddock anytime you wish. Well, the problem is you're going to get someone who's going to put down the metal fence on the table, and before they announce they're putting the metal fence down, you're going to have someone who's going to take their fence posts and put them back in their hand and put sheep out or something, and then you're going to have an argument. So since they haven't released a production version, what I would do is just add a rule saying you can only rearrange during your own turn. I think other than that, the game's fine, the rules are fine. I think people are going to have a lot of fun playing it. So I wanted to thank the manufacturer for sending me the prototype. I appreciate it, and I had a lot of fun play testing this. Also, I have some good news. My girlfriend and I are getting married. We got engaged on Wednesday, so I'll post a little picture here of her. Thanks for watching, and have a good evening.